unexpected. A king of kings enthroned in majesty decides to come down to the earth. Leaving glory behind, the designer who designed all of space and time appears through an unexpected and unimaginable birth. But Mary and Joseph, nah, they weren't ready. How could they have possibly known that he who sits on the heavenly throne was going to leave his heavenly home to clothe himself with flesh and bone in order that he could be born to a little young lady? Nah, that's just crazy. Can you imagine that this little 12 or 13-year-old is sitting in this dirty stable and this little teenager gets to hold the creator and sustainer of all things? The one more affectionately known as the King of all kings, the one they've been waiting for, the one destined to bring peace on earth. Nah, they weren't ready. Fast forward about 30 some odd years. You got some fishermen chilling on a seashore, mending their fishing gear when they have to turn around and drop everything because what do they hear but the simple words, "Come, follow me." Yeah, right now y'all think y'all are fishermen, and you might be on some level, but what you don't realize is that in my eyes, you've been practicing fishing for something a little more special. You see, I want to teach you how to catch something from right here in the middle of these multitudes. I'll tell you, like Bruce said in Nemo, these fish are friends, not food. Yeah, we'll follow you, Jesus. We'll follow you to your end. Jesus said, yeah, y'all say that now, but I'm not sure you fully understand. He said, Lord, we want to stay dusty, following you, Lord, till we cover in the dirt from your sandals. Wait a second, Jesus, why you got us hanging out with all these sinners, thieves, and vandals? Why are you talking to the Samaritan woman by yourself? Are you trying to start a scandal? Now he's healing people and casting out demons. Is this really God or man, though? Is that him walking on water? Impossible. It's got to be a phantom. No, we don't understand what you're saying. We don't really have a handle on what it is you're trying to say. You've been with us all this time, and now you're trying to tell us that you're about to go away? No, they weren't ready. In order to get him crucified, the religious leaders plotted and lied. They would use every bit of their power, their influence, and their clout. They were about to take the one who saves and treat him like he was a game of spades and take that little joker out. But Jesus already knew that they had dealt him a bad hand. And the religious leaders unknowingly were fulfilling God's plan. But they wanted to make sure that Jesus knew that he had lost. Tell me, what kind of man can be accused, charged, and then acquitted of a crime and still wind up hanging on a cross? 3, 5, 1. That's the number that he carried on his back. That's 39 times 9, which equals the number of times that each strand of that cat of 9 was drawn across his spine, making line after diabolical line of ripped, torn, and bleeding flesh. And this was just the beginning of his test. Bruised, bloodied, beaten, he was led down through the streets, his enemies sneering and laughing as they led him to this unavoidable defeat. But all those who said they'd never leave him, well, for the time being, they're conveniently gone. At this time of his greatest trial, in the hour of his greatest need, he's been left utterly and unequivocally alone. The same cross that they laid him on is the same one that he dragged up that hill. The Roman centurions used 9-inch nails that weren't intended to kill, but simply to prolong the inevitable. The holes that it made in his hands and his feet were irreparable. Then pain shot through his body, so intense I can't even begin to imagine the screams. And then he's hoisted in the air, and his own weight begins to tear his body to smithereens. But not just the weight of the physical, but the weight of the entire spiritual process, as he alone takes on the full weight of the sin of the world. Every liar, every thief, every murderer, and every person who's ever transgressed. He closes his eyes, takes his final breath, gave up the ghost, submitted himself to that old great enemy we call death. And earth and all creation groaned. Why? Because they weren't ready. Even old Lucy himself the father of lies, wasn't ready for this. You see, he thought he had won this war and locked this quote-unquote king in the abyss that never gives back any of his captives, and it never releases any of his prey. But he was wrong. He wasn't ready. Because on the third day, a power stronger than lightning started pulsating through that frame. Then an unexpected change began within those earthly remains. Unbridled dunamis started coursing through those veins, and he got up. And the part that's insane is that he even took the time to take off some of his clothes, fold them up, and put them away. He threw off the chains of mortality and left his full essence on display. He did the impossible and put the handcuffs on death and decay. And with a swipe of his hand, he even rolled the stone away. It was the first person in all of history to ever walk up out of his grave, never to experience death again. He says, I am the resurrection, the truth, and the life. I paid the full penalty for sin. It said, devil, you can't hold me. You shot your shot, but you was way too slow. Now all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. You think you can handle me? Then come at me, bro. So stand to your feet if you believe that the King is risen indeed, that he will wash away every tear, that he alone supplies all of our needs. And tell me today in this place, are you ready? Then let's celebrate the resurrection of the only begotten Son. Let me guess again, are you ready? Then let's worship in spirit and truth, because victory over sin and death has been won. I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you ready? And lift your voices. And shout these words with me in one accord. Lift your voices to the name that is higher than every other name. And say this with me. Jesus Christ is